Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Let's see, who was first today? It looks like it was Scott. Congratulations. And Scott can feel it. Robbie, number 2. Jen and the Birds, number 3.
Oh my gosh, good to see everybody. This is wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It is always a blessing to have you guys here with us. And we're going to start by going over and taking a look what's going on with the sun.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot going on. Can you guys feel it?
Well, that's the question. How could you not feel it? Maybe should be the right question. I think everybody's feeling something. So as you can see, if we look over here, we have noteworthy flare events past 72 hours. And we look back down there, you have an X1.1. And then we have a barrage of M-class flares. It definitely looks like the sun is waking up. X1.1, the biggest, but we also had the CME that was coming inbound. Today is the 3rd, so solar activity increased in a hurry on Friday. Pair of M6 solar flares. The first M6.7 at 1811 UTC centered around AR 4479 and was associated with a type 2 radio emission. Estimated velocity of 1,831 kilometers per second. CME is now emerging, should be mostly directed to the west. However, a glancing blow may be possible within 48 72 hours. The second flare, a quicker 6.3 M-class, was produced by AR 4478 at 1859 UTC. This one may be associated with a more narrow westerly directed CME as well. So we looked to the KP, it was pretty much flat. I mean, real flat. Now it's climbed up to about a 3.6, 3.7. So raising up there in frequency. And looking at the Schumann, right now the power is at 40. As you can see, we've seen the Schumann much more intense than this, but it looks like it might be building something at this point in time.
It is. It's definitely building something. Building something. Emperor Rex, good to see you, Keith. So grateful that you are here. Beyond Truth, good to see you. Happy to see you in the house. All right. Hello there, Ron. Hello there, Maria. Miss Kathy, Susan D. Good to see you. God forever. All right. Yeah, it's kind of exhausting. You know, there is this I usually do not I'm not able to fall asleep in the daytime for naps, and I laid down and oh my gosh, I was out. That was very rare for me to kind of zonk out like that. So I didn't expect that at all. Quintress, hello, good to see you. Hi, Faith. Good to see you guys. Yeah, so a lot of changes going on, and yes, happy Friday to you too, Faith. Um, and a lot of information coming out too. I mean, a lot. You know, we have a whole group of stuff, you know, everything that's going on in Venezuela, around the world. We have, you know, the super El Nino, we have the water situations, we have the data centers. I mean, does it not feel like one big giant ugly pimple is just about to pop?
Well, that's quite a visual there.
Yep.
I saw Keith was in the house, our dear friend up in Rhode Island. Yeah, it's interesting times. Interesting. How hot is it where you guys are? This is the feels like temperature. Wow, feels pretty intense. Washington, D.C. feels like 108 degrees. Keith, it looks like you're up well into the 90s there in Rhode Island. Same thing with Robbie over in Mass. It's got to feel pretty intense. Not so bad over in the West. Look at San Fran. Feels like 61. Oh, man. You know, it's like going out and trying to work as in the yard like we were doing. And we worked this morning until about noon. and then you're just saturated. You're just saturated trying to work in these feel like temperatures of 100 and plus, 104, 105 degrees. It's really tough with the high humidity and actual temperatures like in the mid 90s to get a lot done. It gets very, very challenging.
It does get challenging. It gets exhausting. It's so tiring for the human body to bounce back and forth the way we've been doing with all the stress and all the things. But here we are. Relax a little bit. We're going to talk about everything and wrap it up in a really nice, yummy taco for you.
Yeah, that was lunch. Yeah, so things are cooling off as it is heading to evening over in Europe. Everything that we're taught, it might not be accurate at all. Even the size and scope of the world that we live in. There's so much that's just been hidden from us, but a lot of things are coming out right now. U.S. considers proposal to cut Colorado River water use, Arizona says. You know, it feels really dangerous out there in the Southwest at this point in time with the water situation. The U.S. Bureau of Reclamation is considering adopting much of a proposal by Arizona, California, and Nevada to reduce water use on drought-stricken Colorado River, according to Arizona's chief negotiator, a step that could spare the state's steeper federal cuts. With a 20-year-old plan expiring this year, talks among 7 states that share the river at an impasse. The 3 lower basin states presented the Bureau on May 1st with a short-term proposal to deal with severe water shortages. Without a deal among the 7 states, the Bureau will impose its own preferred plan by early August. Should the Bureau adopt the lower basin's water-saving goals, it would mark a reprieve for Arizona, which, under a Bureau proposal, risked losing Colorado River water that millions of people in Phoenix and Tucson use. What are they supposed to do, right? We've had some very positive discussions with Reclamation about the Reclamation adopting largely the lower basin proposal in a way that would be acceptable to us. Tom Buscachatse, Arizona's chief negotiator in the talks, said in the phone interview on Wednesday, I think we're getting close to delivering that with Reclamation. Bureau spokesperson Peter Soeth said in a statement on Thursday that the agency received input from upper basin states on the lower basin proposal, had made several adjustments to it, and remained committed to a continued dialogue with states and tribal nations. Lower basin states propose water savings of at least 3.2 million acre feet through 2028 to maintain critical Colorado River reservoir levels. That represented about half the maximum cuts the Bureau proposed. Lower basin states are talking with the Bureau about its amendments to the proposal to address concerns about the use of reservoirs above Lake Powell. Negotiators for California and Nevada did not immediately respond to requests for comment. I consider this a lower basin breakthrough, but I doubt it will do much to break the stalemate between the upper division states and the lower division. Upper basin states have objected to key elements of the lower basin proposal. All 7 states could still end up in court over operating rules. A spokesperson for Utah's Colorado River Agency said on Wednesday upper basin states were in productive talks with the Bureau over short-term river operations. Negotiators for Colorado, New Mexico, and Wyoming did not immediately respond. Yeah, this is a real dangerous situation that's ongoing with the water. The way things are going, the way Lake Powell is dropping, and, again, all the reservoirs, it's just catastrophic. I mean, it's beyond catastrophic. How could people end up living in Phoenix and Las Vegas with the water situation the way it is if it keeps going along the trajectory it is? Already there's a lot of people that have decided to leave those areas or are on the fence, again, over costs involved with everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, really, what's going to happen? It's so concerning because we keep hearing about homes, towns, wells running dry. What are people actually doing? I don't see a lot of stories out there about like what people are actually doing. I mean I see the stories about water running out, but like the individual people, I'm feeling like they're not having much of a voice. It feels like their voices are being muffled, and we can't let that happen. It feels like, I mean, if I were a homeowner and my well or my water started to just run dirty brown, I mean, I would be screaming to high heaven, and I would be on calling every show that I could think of, to just really get the word out there. I mean, this is terrible. Aw, thank you, KK. We appreciate that, my dear.
Yeah, I was just reading about Lake Powell's level today, which is only 23% of capacity, right? Only 23%. That's pretty low. It's also only 35 feet above the minimum power pool, the level at which Glen Canyon Dam can no longer generate hydroelectricity, because this all goes together. So it it's a disaster. It really, really is a disaster. And you can't talk this without talking about, water supply to people. That's water's life. And then also the grid. They all kind of go together.
They do all go together, for sure. For sure.
PMJ, the largest U.S. power grid operator, has activated emergency measures to cope with stress from an intense heat dome affecting 67 million people. This includes running generators at full capacity, reducing electricity demand to avoid outages. These steps aim to prevent severe disruptions. Well, if you can't see what's coming, the thing is we don't want people to be surprised. And there's a lot of people that understand what's going on. And also what things like an increase in the war going on could also bring to the table. And thank you so much, KK. We would be lost without you. We absolutely love you, KK. What you have going on is just this situation which is getting worse and worse and worse. So the grid serving 67 million people requested maximum generator output and revived inactive power plants to meet rising energy demands. I really do think this is going to be the year we're going to see a lot of grid failures, a lot of disruptions, literal supply shortages. There's much talk going on in Russia about the supply shortages in Russia for fuel, for vehicles. There's a lot of crabby people that have been waiting in line for hours, and then there's no fuel for them. This will be going to hit other countries as this time goes on, as long as the situation doesn't change, which again, you have this war that's gone on in the Ukraine, and the Polish psychic Christoph calls it the turtle war because it's moving like a turtle. And, again, it started in 2022, February. Started actually with the peak date of the U.S. Pluto return, where Pluto is at the same place in the U.S. Astrological natal chart, was at the same position when they signed the Declaration of Independence. So when that happens, when Pluto comes back, everything gets reworked. Well, I think, again, we're watching the U.S. in the process of being reworked into something different. Maybe, perhaps broken up, we'll see. But certainly, it's also a changing of the yugas. So this is a huge time of rapid change. And PMJ or PJM here stops short of reducing voltage or halting power deliveries to consumers, as these steps could exacerbate outages in a region like Baltimore. Their efforts aim to circumvent blackouts and maintain grid stability, but you can see what they're talking about here is getting people ready for the reality of extreme hot days and rolling blackouts. We have been kind of pampered in these times, when it comes to our comforts, our creature comforts. Not everybody. Some people really live off grid. We know people that live off grid, people that really rough it. But I think the whole of humanity has gotten very used to just exercising their hands and their eyes.
Oh, I know. We do know people who are able uh to do this off-grid thing, but yeah, I mean, for the most part though, humanity, we've been softened up a little bit, and not just softened up, but then all the toxins too. So it's like we are primed for a really nasty disaster. It's just not fair.
Well, this is again talking about what we just talked about, this emergency order earlier this week was for the grid operator of 13 states and Washington, D.C. They're getting us ready. These temperatures that we're seeing, some people are saying this seems way worse than they ever remembered. And then other people are saying, I think they're just hyping it. But what we do have is a lot of people waking up to the data center thing. The world's largest data center project on the verge of collapse after Blackstone unexpectedly pulls out. Up until now, when it comes to real estate, Blackstone was best known in recent years for dumping many of its trophy office properties, which in the aftermath of work from home era never recovered their projected cash flow potential at a huge discount. Now, it may be pulling a page from its old pre-Lehman playbook by calling the top in yet on another commercial real estate segment, data centers. 2 days ago, we reported that Blackstone was selling its stakes in a trio of data centers across Northern Virginia for $3.5 billion, cashing out part of a bet it made less than 3 years ago. According to Bloomberg, Digital Realty Trust would pay $1.2 billion of cash and offer $2.3 billion of its shares, which the PE giant had largely cashed in by now, to Blackstone funds. In exchange for the data center company will acquire Blackstone's 80% interest in two 96-megawatt data centers in Manassas, Virginia, and a 50% interest in a 96-megawatt center in nearby Sterling. The question is, why did Blackstone decide to pull the cord now? Could it be public outcry? I mean, just simply that the public is pushing back much farther than expected?
I don't know, Susan Donahue, and I'm in agreement. I definitely think there's something there that, could the data centers just be a cover for the water grab? Oh, you bet. Absolutely. Or is it a cover for them to move the water to somewhere else underground?
I'm with you, Susan, too. The more this goes and the more we see, I mean, I'm glad to see people pushing back and these projects getting canceled. But if they don't push back even harder, then that makes me a little more suspicious.
I know. It's man, it's just really a mess. But I do think, because I keep what keeps popping in my head. I know that you guys remember it. We've played it a million times when it was the WEF, or maybe it was the WHO. One of them were saying that, oh, well, we didn't do a good enough job, during the plague upon the land, but we will with the water. They will understand, water when we take that away. I'm paraphrasing. It was something like that, but you guys understand. You guys remember it was that one lady. I just cannot. Her energy is so icky. But she said that.
Barbara Bush.
Yeah,
She
a
had
little bit
a
of a
Barbara Bush
Barbara
type of
Bush.
energy, if you know what I mean.
It was yucky.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel that there might be a misdirection. It does kind of feel like there's some sort of misdirection here. I don't think the data centers are a good thing. Yeah, we're definitely not for them. We think that the world has to really, truly strive to clean up the mess it made with the ecological problems that we're facing, which are very real. And, again, we've been divided into that. You're either a drill baby drill person or, you're down on the green side. But then they've kind of ruined all of it when you get down to it. This is what they do. They confuse people, but people aren't confused about the food prices. They're going through the roof. Are you having steak on the grill tomorrow for the 4th of July or hamburgers? I remember in the old day, people used to make jokes saying, well, I can't afford steaks. We just have hamburgers. But at the same time, when you look at the price of hamburgers now, it's insane. Like spending $20 out at a restaurant for a hamburger. And fast food, I don't know. We haven't eaten any fast food in decades. So I'm not sure what it costs, but I've heard people talking about it. It looks like you have to take out a mortgage to take people to KFC.
Oh, I know. It's pretty rough right now.
It is really insane. Beef prices remain near record highs as U.S. cattle herd sits at its smallest size in decades, with ground beef up 13%, steak up 16% from a year ago. Consumers are still buying beef despite the higher prices. 4th of July beef sales up 352 million from last year, according to Nielsen IQ. Shoppers continue to treat steak as an affordable luxury, favoring premium cuts and quality labels, even as the prices remained elevated. So yeah, what are people going to be cooking on the 4th of July? I don't think there's going to be many Bill Gates burgers going on in this crew.
No, definitely no.
No, I mean that's for sure. But cattle price through the roof, all basic goods through the roof. Average price of ground beef, $6.75 a pound in May. Again, if you're somebody that eats only like say grass-fed, organic, free range, you could up that a lot more. Most of what I see out there is somewhere between, I'd say, $8 and $10 a pound, typical at this point in time. I did notice when we went into town for to see a movie, and we had a babysitter for the kids here, as the deer is looking at me and cautiously going to get some corn that I put out. I did see that a couple of our local residents, restaurants in our area, were literally advertising this one family that we know. That's really the family that we tend to buy most of our proteins from. And so that was good because I know this family, I know what they do as far as treating their animals and everything. We know the things that are in it, and we know the things that are not in it. Again, it is really Russian roulette if you're buying a lot of food from, again, Sam's Club, Walmart, etc.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, that's going up. How about some earthquake activity? Let's see. The biggest ones we have right now in the last 24 hours, 6.2 in Indonesia, 120 kilometers deep. So that's relatively deep. And so usually when you're deep like that, you would look for something about that same size, maybe a little bit bigger in the general vicinity. And we do have this up here, 6.1 in Japan. This is 10 kilometers, so more closer to the surface, give you more shaking. When you look at, though, besides those two, there's a 5.9 in the Kuril Islands up there, and a 5.1 in Japan. We've had some curious little ones. This is in the St. Lawrence River, 2.5. There's definitely been some curious quakes in the last month. If we're looking at a whole month, look at these up in Canada. These are right in the same area. Let's go with newest first. The St. Lawrence River area. Here's another one down a little closer to Quebec. Over in New Brunswick, New York State. It's been a little bit more than what we usually see. But of course, we're still praying for everybody that's down in Venezuela. There are still stories coming out. Even, at this point in time, some miracles and rescues, some human, some animal. But overall, it's a pretty grim picture. Thousands and thousands of lives lost. I don't know when we're going to really have a true picture of what it was.
No, it's a mess, and let's not forget about the children that keep going missing.
Cyclosporiasis type of food poisoning that can cause severe diarrhea. It's not usually life threatening, but there's a lot of this going on. And it's actually hospitalized at least 20 people, many, many more times that cases. This is talking about 170 people in Michigan that have come down with this. So, this is parasitic, a nasty parasitic infection that causes explosive watery diarrhea. It's not what you want at your barbecue with family. Caused by a parasite that spreads through contaminated food. It's been on the rise in multiple states, at least 20 people hospitalized. They say the CDC is working to identify potential sources of the contamination. That's the thing. It's what food. I don't see where they've isolated what it is. Currently, there is no evidence of a single multi-state cyclospora outbreak linking all the cases, so it could be different things in different places. As you see, Louisiana has 1 to 10 cases, Texas 11 to 30, Colorado 1 to 10, Illinois 11 to 30, Wisconsin 1 to 10, Ohio, New York. New York has a lot of cases. But we also see it in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia. Wonder what is causing it. It's a microscopic parasite found in human feces. Oh, I will share with you, my sister, many years ago, I want to say it was about 25 years ago, or maybe even 30 years ago, she got deathly ill. She was in the hospital. We were worried about losing her. So this would have been when she was, let's say, in her 40s or even late 30s. And what they turned out that it was they thought it was from the chef, I kid you not washing his hands after going to the bathroom. And she was deathly ill. She was in the hospital for about 10 days on antibiotics and hydration. It was really scary.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we really have to watch these things and just constantly, be keeping ourselves safe all the time. I mean, really, we got to watch what we're doing all the time. Life shouldn't be this hard, but here we are.
No, it's, again, this is like with trusting food out because, we did have the ability to go out to dinner because we don't eat out hardly ever. I mean, literally, it's been years. Well, actually, I have to take it back. We did eat once on our Nevada trip, which was maybe 10 months ago. Overall, we're very careful and we tend to just cook our own food where we know where it comes from and know how it's been handled. But it is so nice to get out and to get out and enjoy company and just enjoy a pleasant restaurant. It's a real blessing in life. But again, you really want to know where you're eating, who's there, who's cooking, who's prepping the food. I ran a retirement center, actually 10 different ones. And the reality is, again, I've seen kitchens that are terrifying and disastrous. And I've seen kitchens that are immaculate and trustworthy. And it's the same thing with restaurants out there.
Oh my gosh, somebody said her mom had something for a week. She had this taco, and man, she had that for a week. We live in California. Oh wow. I'm so sorry. I do hope that she's better. We'll definitely send prayers.
Oh wow, yeah, interesting.
I did that one. I got so sick from
We did that. We did that when we were moving and we were like tired and I didn't feel like cooking and we just decided to drop into a Mexican place that we had eaten at before. And for me it was a little minor digestive stuff, but Cindy got like flu-like sickness. She was knocked for a loop, cold and clammy and sweating.
Oh my gosh, it was awful. I think I had a fever. I was trembling, shaking. You know what? It was a really, really good taco, though. It was really good. I remember that much and thinking, oh my God. And I wolfed it down so fast. It was just delicious. But man, oh man, did I pay for that one.
So June's drop in the unemployment rate was because of an exodus of workers from the labor force. Labor force participation rate, which measures the working age population of those either employed or looking for a job, fell to 61.5%, the lowest since March 2021, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Excluding the COVID era jobs market, it was the lowest participation rate since June 1976. Again, they pay attention to this, and it might sound crazy and laughable, but when you look back to the stories of the Anunnaki creating humans to be their slave race, to do the work, if you were to put management in place, but you didn't want anybody knowing that you were actually the ones that were doing all this, controlling all this, still working not just the minds, but all resources, all natural resources. So you have humans apparently run things on their own, but you want to encourage them to be productive people. You're a productive citizen, right? You're productive for them. That's the thing. You're productive for keeping the machinery go around. I really view like the lack of participation in the labor force. In my mind, it's a thing where people are thinking of alternatives without going into the same old, without going and working for a corporation and becoming a number. They're looking for other ways to make money and circumvent the system. So from my point of view, this is a sign of people waking up and going more into a Bronze Age mentality.
Well, it's just even more clear today to me than it was 5 years ago, and I'm a different person today. But I've always thought for all these years that, the only thing that's available in the workforce is for us to run their businesses. There we have this big long laundry list of jobs that we can do, and it's not for us. It's not anything that's truly for us. You can run your own business, but to some extent it's still going to revolve around what they want. And what I have come to see is I think it's, the best place to be putting your money is in a lot of what is now called alternative healing, which is the kind of healing that we do. I hate that it's called alternative, but that's just the label that's been put on it. And all the new technologies, you want to put your money into a massage, you want to put your money into a Reiki healer, you want to put your money into a lot of these fifth density healing modalities, frequency healing, things of that nature. See, that is something that's not going directly into the system, and it will heal you. It takes a minute, takes longer, just like nature always takes longer, but she does it to perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, I think it's a sign of people figuring out ways to get outside of the system. And, this is not necessarily a bad thing in my mind, because, again, we're the only species that pays rent. Nobody else pays rent. The bears don't, the bees don't, the birds don't. Nobody else pays rent. Nobody else pays mortgage. Again, there can be other ways of doing things. Well, you have an Air Force major arrested after calling for Trump impeachment on Capitol steps. The peaceful demonstrations are permitted on Capitol grounds, but a protester must remain alongside a member of Congress to speak openly from the steps. Air Force Major Jason Watson was accompanied by Representative Al Green, who later left. Upon Al Green leaving, Watson was directed to come off the steps or face arrest. And so he didn't. And then, he was arrested. When the President of the United States orders military action against foreign countries absent an emergency scenario where American interests are under imminent dire threats, as was done with Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran, That's constitutional. I'm having tongue ties there. Usurpation of Congress's authority and a violation of the War Powers Clause. But the reality is, Trump has ignored these things. Obama ignored them. Bush ignored them. I mean, they all ignore them. They all do whatever they want. So, nothing new is really happening in that case. But I think the reality is, they do look out for their own interests. We just found that, President Trump and his family has made hundreds of millions, if not billions, in crypto, and has received tons of gifts from a lot of these oil-rich nations. And also they get preferential treatment when it comes to real estate deals, contracts. The Republicans and the Democrats, they're all in this together. It's a uniparty. There might be just a handful that are not completely corrupted, but it's really just a handful. They all take advantage of whatever they can get away with when they're in power. That's just the reality.
They do. They push the limits, and they know that, really nothing is going to happen to them. I mean, they know the law. They know they can circumvent the law. They know that they could just, lift their little finger and get a lawyer and have somebody else do the signing of the paperwork and push the broom and push the pencil. They don't have to do anything. So, they just sort of kind of do what they want. I mean, this world is really gone beyond unfair. It's unjust. It is completely unjust. We need to get a grip on stuff.
Yeah, we are run by the most corrupt individuals on the planet. Doesn't matter which nation we're talking about. Ozempic now being linked to aggressive thyroid cancer while the company faces a $2 billion lawsuit. Again, Monsanto, look at all the lawsuits. Look at all the payouts. Bayer, same thing. PFI, we could go on down the line. The corrupt protect the other corrupt that then, basically they're predators. They're predators, preying on all of us. America's most influential little people ouchie organization has been hit with a federal RICO lawsuit for operating a racketeering ouchie enterprise. We kid you not. The American Academy of Pediatrics unlawfully deceived people. This is it, They rake in cash from Merck, Pfizer, and Moderna. And the reality is, when you look at these, especially Pfizer and Moderna, they are the military. Well, how could they be the military? But they are the military. But how could they be the military? How could they and the military be one and the same? And, again, I just go straight back to Operation Paperclip. It's because, again, of that demonic energy coming from those that have technology that many humans want to get ahead on other humans. And again, this is all the corrupt leadership that we're talking about. Yeah, you can't trust any of these agencies. They're in it for profit. They wouldn't be spending billions of dollars in legitimate compensation if they weren't guilty. They are guilty, but they still do it. How is that possible? Well, it's because, again, what's their profit margin? If something costs you 2 or 3 cents and you're able to mark it up to $20, $30, think about that profit margin. It's beyond reasonable. It's insanity. It literally is a fiscal form of raping the public.
It's truly horrible. I mean, for me, when my children were young, I got, I was a flaky mom. I would make the appointments and then I wouldn't bring my children because something else came up and I just couldn't. So luckily, my children got very few ouchies. And it wasn't until I had grandchildren that I really, really started to open my ears because they had gotten ouchies and they got extremely sick, and I got super angry, and I marched right into that doctor's office, and I told her, I told her off. I just really went after her, and I swear to God, she had this stone cold look in her face, and she looked right at me, and she's like, I've just never seen this before. I just really don't know what is going on. I mean, pretending that she had never seen a reaction like this before. And then it wasn't even 3 months later, the lists came out about how much they were getting in kickbacks to push these ouchies onto children. And it could kill them. It could have killed them. I mean, these little babies were running fevers of 104. And here we are out in the desert. We're over 100 miles from a good hospital. You would have had to call Flight for Life if it had gotten much worse. And there she is sitting in her office collecting her cush 20,000, 20,000 in bonus points because she pushed what she pushed. How do these people look at themselves? I don't get it. I do not get it, because they absolutely know what they're doing and they pocket that money. And I mean, all I can say is sit here and it fires me up. But I know that karma happens. It absolutely happens. It might not happen when I want it to or when I'm looking, but I know it happens.
Yeah, I saw Robbie was commenting that there was a show. Let's see, where was that? Nina was basically doing a show on Oliver Tree and that whole thing. I mean, that's something that every day it's like new stuff is coming out. New stuff is coming out every day. So Beyond Truth 33, if you guys don't know, that's Nina and Robert. So, they're part of our family. If you haven't subscribed to them, please do go check them out. Great people. We did go on their show as well. And we gotta really stick up for each other, because hey, that's all we got is we got each other. There they are. Hey, they're doing good. They're 535 subscribers. There they are, Nina and Robert. Hey, they are family, guys. So yeah, do go check them out. And then our own brother Cortez. I can't remember. I was trying to remember the Cortez show. He is doing a new endeavor, and I'm hoping maybe we'll get a chance to actually meet him in person. No, that's not it. I'm gonna have it for you for next time, guys. He's starting a new channel, but he's also on the road, and he's going to be perhaps even bopping by and visiting our brother Wayne Steiger, which would be wonderful.
Oh, it would be. It would be really, really wonderful. I mean, just to meet any of you guys in person, it would be a blessing, because we've been hanging out for so long and it just shifts the energy. There's something about meeting in person, that energy exchange in person is a lot of fun. But hey, I mean, I'll take what I can get here. And Regina says their day is coming. Yeah, yes, Regina, thank you. Their day is coming. Yeah, it's so sad out there, the state of affairs and what people can do and sit on it, and they just live with it, and they look at themselves. But you know what? Yes, I'm sure their soul and their consciousness twists and kind of torques every day as they continue to try to look themselves in the mirror every day. That's really just got a jab at them. I know it does. When the controllers or somebody in power has done something wrong, it gets to him. It definitely gets to him. I feel it in my bones.
There's more of us out there. We just don't know each other yet. There's a lot more of us out there. I mean, I've gone through and found, like, I'd say a good 4 or 5 channels that I really resonate with, and they feel like they're people just like us. They're just simply trying to do the same thing. I see more and more of that. That's a real positive thing. By the way, if you do take birth control pills, it's now classified in the same IARC cancer category as tobacco and asbestos. Think about that, guys.
And, it's not like this just now has started cancer. This has been causing it the whole time. And, they lay the groundwork for people to need birth control, and then they just put them on it and wonder, why are we having so many side effects? And, when it comes to hormones in any way, I just don't think you should tinker with the human body. You need to get the human body running as best as you possibly can, because the human body, when you give it the right fuel, it flourishes. It truly flourishes. And if there's something wrong, and look at the soil, there's got to be something in your growth, in your soil, that's just not mixed quite right, because we really are no different than plants and trees.
Moderna reported 102 losses of life in the ANRM group. 102, like for a flu. I never understood why people just think about doing certain things. It's just never once crossed my mind. I've never had a flu shot in my life. Never. In fact, I don't have recollection of getting any shots ever. Honestly, I really don't think, I certainly had nothing as an adult. And I don't remember any from childhood either. Of course, again, I was born in the 60s. I know things have changed radically since then. But I mean, as far as like my own personal outlook, I just simply don't believe in the science that they give us.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that in school I did receive a tetanus because I stepped on a rusty nail out at the farm, and I don't know why I got the tetanus, but that's all I got. So I was pretty lucky to get out of the way of that. But a lot of people, like I think my brother and sister, have that funny stamp on them with all the little holes in it, where they got a bunch of vaccines at once. I guess they were, born in late 60s, I think. Some people got those, but yeah, it's still a racket. It's always been a racket.
This is very, very key. Anti-parasitic medications, things like, again, ivermectin and others, and also the natural things. Like wormwood, we talk about it all the time, black walnut hull, cloves. I mean, we're just loaded with things like that. I always have backup to the backup, never run out. We use colloidal silver all the time. We use garlic. I mean, I think raw garlic is one of the most powerful, cheap things you could possibly do. If you were in the habit of chopping up, say, one good-sized clove of garlic a day, let it sit out for 10, 15 minutes, eat half of it, come back 4 or 5 hours later, eat the other half. And, again, you could just take it like you're taking a pill. That's going to do a hell of a lot of damage to all the parasites in your body. It's going to be very, very protective of your health.
Yeah, I don't believe in any of it. I think that, Ivor, I mean, that's been shown to help, and that's all we need. We just need to focus on our immune system. I have never seen the ouchies ever help anyone. I only see, I mean, even me, when I did get that tetanus in school, it hurt my shoulder. I think that's all it did. And then, I've read a lot about it, where if you do step on a rusty nail, I mean, by the time you do get the tetanus, that it won't be in your system fast enough to fight against the tetanus. It's like, it's just not a good idea. There's different ways to go about it. There's so many other modalities that we can use to strengthen our immune system. And yeah, I guess it's just, I've seen enough over the years to know that those ouchies are not effective, and yet it keeps happening. People keep getting them, and then they keep getting sick, and there's a spell, it's like there's a spell kind of hovering over them, and they think it's gonna help them somehow. Oh my gosh. And let's talk demons. Let's talk demons. Let's talk parasites, and let's talk demons.
I mean, seriously, parasites are the problems, but demons are the problems at the same time. Look at that face. If I asked you what type of entity is that, what if I told you that was a tapeworm that came out of somebody's butt? Really? Look at that face. It's demonic. Parasites are demonic. And yet parasites are really the problem. Parasites have taken over our politicians. It's taken over everything. Our whole system is parasitic. And, these humans that apparently run this show, they're really running the show for parasites. They are being used. They're nothing but tools of parasites, which ultimately are demonic.
I mean, when we talk about demonic possession, a lot of times the food that is being eaten, parasites will cause you to do certain things. There is a particular parasite, I forgot to look up the name of it before the show, but they prefer to be inside of a cat. But what they will do is they will get inside of a mouse and they will make the mouse feel very, very brave around cats. Well, guess what? The cat will eat the mouse. The mouse has the parasite. Now the parasite is in the cat. I mean, it takes over our brain. It takes over our brain. They take over our brain. And then you're trying to fast and you're really, really hungry and you just have these horrible sugar cravings. What do you think that is? What do you think is telling you to eat that sugar? Your body officially is not good for you. Sugar is really bad. Sugar is like rust. It's like rust in your body. It ages you. It eats away at your cells. It fills up your cells so nutrients cannot exchange in the other cells. So yeah, they are definitely demonic. It's the parasites. So if you have attachments, things like that, cleanses they truly do help. And getting rid of the sugar, cleaning up the diet, all of these things can definitely help.
Yeah, think about that. They've given us a diet, with the pyramid that has simple carbohydrates, which again is like a primary form of feeding these entities up really high with it. They want you eating all the stuff that has no real nutritional value, but it's going to feed the parasites. You have the U.S. military that released, again, genetically modified ticks on Cuba back in the 60s. These things are blood-sucking parasites. We've seen this. And you have Gil Bates again, mosquito factories. Those things are blood-sucking parasites. They're all parasites. They are parasites. They are also demonic. And so anti-parasitic medications, that's the way to go. And then, when you look at like what so many people were exposed to, and about 6 years ago, 5 years ago now, it shows that one of the newest technologies out there could definitely contribute to Alzheimer's, anxiety, and depression. But wait a minute, the parasites feed off of depression. They feed off of anxiety. Yeah, if we can't see that our leadership is being controlled by parasites in order to feed parasites, then we're really missing the whole picture.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's one big parasite party, and they're feeding the parasites as well. Wood alcohol is in things like hand cleaner, lotions, other things that you might put on your body, cleaners, and the wood alcohol can go to your pancreas. And certain parasites love wood alcohol. So what do? They go to the pancreas, and all of a sudden people have pancreatic cancer. So, there's just so many layers. The whole system that we live in, the 3D world, has been woven together to just in a blanket of defeat for us. If we're not awake and you don't know to make different choices or augment certain things, you're just walking down a road of torment.
Yeah, absolutely. And then think about it, like Robbie was just saying, vampires fear garlic. Absolutely. And we've shared too that when you talk about those beings like Enki and Enlil, they're really like vampires. When you look at the Sumerian tales, the Sumerian myths tell you that when the Anunnaki came here, when they were here for a long time, they realized that their extra long lifespans were starting to shorten. They were not able to handle the sun as we are exposed to it. They really are like, again, vampires. You wonder why Gil Bates wants to block out the sun and spread parasites? And then sunglasses literally are being linked, using sunglasses is being linked to cancer. When they first introduced sunglasses, it started triggering a massive increase of cancer. Well, it's because, again, looking at the light of the sun triggers your skin to produce melanin. So if it's dark, your skin's not going to think it has to produce melanin, and thus you could have an issue. Sunglasses have everything to do with cancer. You're blocking UV rays of the sun that are supposed to enter the eyes for melanin production. The entire spectrum of light is necessary, including the ultraviolet. Every cell communicates to every other cell through light. Our cells require sunlight. Vampires don't go out on the sunlight. No. Think about the tales of Nibiru's going 3,600 years away from us and coming back in that type of loop. And if Nibiru really is mostly very far away from the sun, it's not really receiving that light. In fact, we've gotten that Nibiru is not really part of our solar system, but of another solar system that is close to us, perhaps the closest to us. I know Alpha Centauri and Proxima Centauri are the two that are closest to us. Yet at the same time, when we remote view Nibiru, what do we see? We see a ship. We see a mothership. It's not really a planet, and it utilizes a black hole for propulsion. So they could go anywhere they want, or anywhere they're allowed to go, but they are not allowed to come any closer to us than where they are currently, which is outside of Uranus and Neptune. How did we get that information? That's just channeled information and remote viewing. So, again, there are other remote viewers, though, out there and other channelers that have picked up similar info.
We do. We're all picking up a lot of the same vibes. It's just really, really important. But thank you, Miss Lena. We definitely appreciate that. Thank you so, so much, you guys. It really helps us keep doing what we're doing and pulling everyone together and, kind of rallying everyone together to keep fighting the good fight. Because, man, I know without some type of support and camaraderie, it's really hard to get through the days with everything that's going on. So thanks.
Yeah, so, it's really wild. Infrared light is a good therapy, and it could stimulate the brain and mitochondria to produce more ATP, which can provide sharp, clear thinking. So, when you do things like, again, they'll tell you never look into the sun, and, we can't tell you to, but all I can say is that when I have sun gazed, primarily, really, mostly on the beach in either South Carolina or Florida for the most part, because again, on the beach, it's the rising sun, South Carolina, but I lived on the west coast of Florida and would watch the sunsets. And what did I notice? I noticed it was so much easier to see everybody's aura and energy bodies. And in fact, I saw, after sun gazing, I saw just like such detail that I had never seen before without the sun gazing. I could literally see the funnels of people's crown chakra. I could see many different colors in their energy bodies, which usually would just kind of appear as kind of a whitish type of glow, or sometimes a golden white. But it just gave me the ability to pick up so many more details.
Indeed.
So, yeah, cortisol awakening response triggered by light exposure. It's a crucial part of the body's circadian rhythm. Serotonin and dopamine release. Specialized cells in the retina called dopaminergic amacrine cells are responsible for releasing dopamine when stimulated by light, which then signals the brain to increase serotonin. Serotonin is the feel-good, so again, how many people have problems when on certain medications with sleep cycle, with energy, clear thinking? Again, I think we could do well to let sunlight be one of your number one healing practices. Get out there and consciously take in the sunlight.
Yeah, I think, when you're looking into a lot of natural healing modalities, one thing that is truly left out is the emotional aspect of it, because some things can cause, good emotions, soothing things, and other things can cause a lot of anxiety. Like, certain particular parasitic die-offs can actually create a lot of anxiety while your body adjusts to a different way of doing things.
Sunlight benefits: stroke prevention, cancer prevention, heart attack prevention, bone health, immune system health, depression prevention, natural appetite suppressant. When you're outside all day and in the sun, do you ever notice that your appetite changes? And, I always feel like I'm craving a lighter food when I'm out in the sun a lot. Definitely mood enhancer, hair keratin production, naturally lowers blood pressure, optimal libido and hormone production, muscle health, and injury prevention. Yes. The liver is extremely important for overall health. Liver cleansing, this gives you a little liver cleanse. You see they're cutting up ginger. Liver, we really have to take care of it.
So many things you can do for the liver. Lemon is great. Ginger is great. Turmeric is great. Milk thistle is great. The liver is such an amazing organ. It can rebuild itself. I mean, it is incredible. But you do need to, sometimes it needs a little bit of help. And there's these things here that can really give it a huge, huge boost. So, I mean, no matter what you have done with your body in this lifetime, there are ways to just bring about an enormous amount of healing and repair. And never, ever forget that.
I mean, probably most of us would have everything here in the kitchen. That was just a carrot. It was ginger. It was lemon. What else did they put in there? And yogurt and some water. And they're just blending it up into a smoothie. And drink it first thing in the morning. 3 days in a row on empty stomach. Oh man, yeah. There's been many periods in my life where I did long juice fasts. Up to a week of just fresh juices. And oh my gosh, it just makes you like tingle from head to toe. But just be careful of too much sugar. So, go with things like cucumber, celery, etc. for kind of the bulk of it.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's better if you can get through it without the sugar. But I did know someone who was extremely wise, and she was teaching me how to do a particular parasite cleanse, and she would actually use a little bit of sugar as bait and to bait the little stinkers out, and then you bomb them with a particular thing. And I'll talk about that parasite cleanse another day because I have to have like all the information in front of me. But it's something that you want to be careful with because it's a serious parasite cleanse. It will do the job.
Evolutionary. Hey, that's those two guys. So I just wanted to show you when you go over here, you can see our LifeWave. This is our LifeWave affiliate link. Also, if you click the more, then everything is there. There are technologies that we feel are very advantageous. In fact, ones that we would never be without at this point in time. Ozone therapy is one. That's our affiliate link to Promo Life, which is a small company out of Arkansas, and great people to deal with. We've been using them for about 5 years now, and the ozone, it's oxygenating your body. I mean, it's again one of our primary weapons against parasites and disease. Aha Halo, this is scalar frequency. This is really cool too. And then LifeWave, which are these light patches. This is from clinicalmedjournals.org, and it talks about finding actual clinical benefits and results from these patches. And there are, gosh, there's so many doctors that are utilizing these patches and recommending them to their patients. Cindy is, even more of an expert than I am on this, as she's been taking part of a lot of different discussions and seminars and all.
Well, I listen to a lot of people, I mean, real world people that have tried this, and have had some really wonderful outcomes. And there was one particular that stays with me, a young man. Well, he wasn't young. He was probably in his 40s, and he was autistic, and the mother was taking care of him, and she had started him on the patches. And it was on the third month where, mind you, mom did everything for this boy, the 40-year-old. She shaved him, she took care of him, she dressed him, all the things. And then, one particular day, she was gonna shave him with the razor, and he said, "Mom, I want to shave myself." And that was the first time she cried. I mean, she broke down in tears that her son was actually starting to change and grow up. And, it was just something that was so very touching. And the things that these patches can do for your pets, I use them on my pups, and I don't know, I've never quite seen anything like it. Now, it is a technology that is using your own light. I would highly suggest reading this so you can get some of the science-based information back. But I also was told by a person that, the blood work, if you're just not sure if it's working, get the blood work done. Work with your doctor, get the blood work done, see the difference. With us, we feel the difference. I felt it very, very strong. I was doing all kinds of things for myself, and, just not quite getting that needle moving the way I wanted. And I added the patches, and boom. I mean, it's like everything started rolling there. So just a lot of real good stuff. Hydration is very important with it. Diet's very important with it. And just treating yourself really good. There's nothing out there. Like, if you are not eating right and doing the things you need to do to take care of your body, nothing is going to allow you to bypass that. You need to do the other things as well. Take care of yourself. So if you truly want to heal, this is a way to do it. And it really allows your body, it awakens those stem cells. So those stem cells can say, hey, let's get busy. Let's do some things. And so the body is healing at a pace that the body needs to heal. So heard nothing but good. We've experienced nothing but good.
Yeah, and this particular again, this article is showing that there was significant improvement. Exercise performance, strength and stamina, all these things showed significant increases in improvements from 31% to 70%. That's very, very awesome. They actually work. They literally work, and they work on light. So again, very cool. Another night, another unexplained boom in the high desert. Paul Jenkins of Apple Valley described a recent unexplained boom, as there's still a lot of those things going on. It's like, what's causing these booms? The sound was felt between Kiowa and Navajo roads, between Highway 18 and Tussing Ranch Road. Again, what is going on with all these anomalous booms? How about all those things we're seeing in the sky going out there? Every night you have fireballs going on. You still have tons of UAP and UFO sightings. In fact, I gotta say that I think people are almost becoming, maybe they're bored with it or indifferent to it, the ones that have been following it closely. Look at this, again, these cylinders, the cigar-shaped UFOs. Well, it's just so commonplace now. Maybe it won't be too far and away that we'll actually get introduced again. It might happen any time, literally, that they introduce us to some, perhaps, of the tall whites that have been around Nellis for years, and some others. UFO home planet found, alien galactic civilizations. Well, astronomers have found another promising planet. Only 25 light years away, could be a home base. Again, there's tons of them out there. Tons of them. And then, still you have a lot of these sightings, and you have people like this. I think we had shown this once. It seemed a little crazy. This guy is like going to be doing a little target shooting, and then he sees something, hears something, and then he's like pouncing around looking to see what it is. It turns out it's an alien ship that landed, or at least it appears to be a UFO that landed, that he goes and, gets close to. And, you got to be suspicious, especially if it happens during live, but at the same time, I don't doubt it.
I mean, everything is just really coming to a head. And I mean, unless you really don't want to know that there's other beings out there, there's definitely other beings out there.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure a lot of them are native to here. Oh, here's one. Look at. Wow. Hey, what's he doing? Is he giving us a peace sign?
It must be a peace sign. And, that reminds me of some of those really cool kitty litter boxes these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's got a little sense of humor anyway. And this kitty is helping with the project. Yeah, absolutely adorable. Thank you guys so much. We couldn't do this without you. As always, Loka Samasta Suki no Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May my thoughts, words, acts, and deeds contribute to the happiness and freedom of all beings. And again, guys, thank you for your support and all the Patreons and members here on YT, as well as your support with Ko-Fi. And on that note, too, thank you, Susan Donahue. We did get the Ko-Fi the other day. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thanks, you guys. And with LifeWave too, if you are in a healthcare line of work, it is really good. It's super easy to log on. You can use our link and get your own affiliate link, and it's super easy. It's just super easy, and it benefits so many people. And since I've started it, I'm a different person now than I was 6 months ago, and I'm telling you, it helps. It really helps. And I've seen so many blessings out there, and it's one of those things that you don't have to worry about what's going in your body. And as far as vitamins and whatnot, that I've cut those way back too, and that does definitely help save on a lot of money. So it's just been a blessing for us, and it can be a blessing for you too. If there's any questions on it, feel free to just shoot us an email on it. Okay. Oh, and I can't speak enough about the animals. I know another person had a sick chicken, and she put the patches on her chicken, and it really, really helped the chicken. I mean, it's just crazy.
We've seen it with dogs,
And dogs, cats, chickens.
horses.
It works across species, and they have a special patch just for horses in there as well. So anyhow, thanks you guys so much. Let's say some thank yous to Frankie and KK. You guys really help us keep everything going, and everyone in chat, you guys have been wonderful. I do love it when we keep the high vibe in the chat. That's important. That's important for all of our mental health, because it's crazy out there. So here we go. You guys are amazing. Would love to, Cortez. Just reach out, and yes, it's a beautiful day, you guys. Thank you so much. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.